Hello, it's ArtisanTony, and I'm coming to you from deep in the woods of the Tennessee hills. And I had to do some work this morning in the office, and I thought I would just turn on the pooter and see if anybody wants to join me. I love doing these live streams and having the interaction. This is a house for Jane in Florida, and it's on the Swanee River, and you can see I actually got the surveyor to send me the topo, which is always awesome because what I can do is I can select their topo lines. When I get these, when I get this information from the surveyor, it's just line work, but I can select their topo lines, their contour lines, and go up and using the sandbox, I can say create from contours, and it will create this mesh over it. And then you can give it a pretty green color, you know, because, otherwise the CAD environment's kind of dull and boring. And so if I were to put this on my site plan, let's see, I had that material so you could see through it. I think I accidentally, oh, I know what it was. I put it back to, I changed the opacity so I could work. But when I do the site plan, it'll look, more like that. But I'll turn the topo off also. But when I'm working, it's nice to have that. So I have this work view I use. What I'm doing right now is I was working on the handrails, and it occurred to me I hadn't done a video for Vali Architects lately, and which he had Chuck. I've kind of know Chuck over the years. He lets me have this extension for making videos for them, and I appreciate that because all these extensions would be really expensive for me to afford. So this gives me an opportunity to work for them instead of having to pay cash for them. And it is work. But anyway, his extensions are pretty awesome. You've got instant fence or railing, instant road, instant roof, instant site grader, instant terrain, instant wall, instant door and window, instant stair, and the one I use the most is this instant cladding, which is pretty awesome because you can just draw a face and go in and apply. You just pick, there's all these different claddings, siding, brick, whatever. I'm going to cancel that. But the other one I use, which is awesome, is to do some mundane things like do handrails because as everyone knows in the CAD world, and especially residential, why am I not selecting my, I had that, okay, so now it's not wanting to cooperate. I had those lines in a group, and of course, since I went to, there we go, since I went to do a live stream, the gremlins appeared. But what you can do is draw yourself a your line work on the where you want the handrail. So I offset it 2 inches all the way around. I think that'll work. And then you create a group of those lines. You see I even drew a line going down the stairs. And then you can go select that group, and you go to Vali Architects Instant Fence Railing, and you click on that, and then you click on this little button, and you get this library. And then of course, there's fences, right? There's fence and then handrails, so they're related. I like to pick a simple one just to keep the line, just the number of objects down in a drawing. Even though I have a super duper whiz bang computer with an RTX 3080 graphics processor. I still like to keep it simple. And the customer is going to do whatever they want to do whenever they build it. So I just try to keep it simple. Anyway, so I'm gonna click on this simple one right here, and then you just click on it, and then you can close that window, and then you can go to the parameters, and you really can just try it without messing with the parameters. I'll show you. What did I do? I'll pretend like I'm not gonna change the parameters, and we'll see what. Make fence or railing, and I think my choice should already be picked. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna say make fence. And down here, it's kind of cool. It'll give you the overall length, 71 feet, post 13, materials, total rail material, cap or pickets. Okay, so and you can change these parameters. I'll show you in a second. And just say okay, and bam. Now it would have taken me several hours to do that. Okay, and so you can understand why. And it's one of the most mundane tasks in residential design. And I used to just draw these things by hand, or with normal tools. And yeah, I mean you can draw a baluster and copy it, but you got to get the spacing right between the posts, and you got to get the post space right. I mean, it's still all of the automation in SketchUp is cool, but having these extensions is awesome. Now, one thing I would like to do is see a lot of times these rails, like local codes, like we can't go. Yes, that's too far apart. We can't go like in Hamilton County in Tennessee. We can't go more than 52 inches. Part, and that's because the railing has to withstand a 200-pound lateral load, and they've somehow come up with that magic number. Other thing is, I don't know, spacing. I like to kind of coordinate the spacing of my post holding up the porch, the deck, with the handrails post. But sometimes you can't. You're not going to have a post for every handrail post, right? Because that would just be a bunch of. You might as well build a wall under it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control Alt Delete, and I'm going to select my group again, and I'm going to go back to my Vali Architects extension. It's railing, and I'm going to go to parameters, and then I'm going to see posts. Maximum spacing should be. Let's see, that's on center, so 52 and 4 should be. Yeah, it's on center, so 52 and 4, 56. I'm going to say 56 inches and see how that works. And let's see, we'll make sure it's inches just in case. Align with fence. Let's see, end post bottom, and extend post to bottom. No, I don't. Let's see, I'm not going to worry about all this. But anyway, you can change the type of rails, number of rails, diameter, thickness, top rail, bottom rail. Bottom rail height should be less than. It should be less than 6.5 because the code doesn't allow. I'm going to put it there. The code only allows so much space. The code only allows the same amount of space at the bottom as it does between, or less. We usually leave about 2 or 3 inches at the bottom. Let's see, vertical thick top. I don't want to mess with this too much because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But there's just, you can kind of go crazy. But I just wanted to change the spacing for the most part of the post. So I'm just going to say okay. You can see here I get my little material list, and then accept that I thought it would extend the balusters automatically, and that's weird. This is what I get for messing around with it. So we'll check that right quick. And if I can't figure out that parameter quickly, I'll just move on. It does say it does save your, okay, let's go to balusters, rails, handrails, fencing, post, rails, handrail, fencing, okay, top, bottom, fencing location, center, okay, width, length, diameter, spacing. This really ought to be 5. 5 would give you inch and a half. Yeah, 5.5. 5.5. Can't have more than a 4-inch space between 5.5. Thickness top 2'9". So it figures I'd have to do some math. It looked to me like they were about 2 inches short. Probably, let's try 2'11". If that doesn't work, we will not spend too much time on it. Oh, man. Man. 2 inches. Okay. Why does it always, it's funny. If I was doing this without being on a live stream, everything would just be cool. It would be copacetic. But since I'm doing it on a live stream. All right, post. That's not it. Rails. That's the top rails. Handrail. That's the rail underneath the rail. And fencing has to be it. Top of it. Bottom. Oh, here we go. Aha. Here we go, right here. What did I say? Here, that's that difference, 2 inches right there. Found it. Okay, so tragedy averted. There we go. There we go. Now that's good enough for now. There's some little weird things, like what I'll do is I would go in here, and are those, let's see if those are, yeah, those are components. So if I move this one down to say there, yeah, they're all good. That's good. Way to go, Chuck. That was convenient. Okay, so he made those components, so they all went down. And for this for the purposes of this drawing, that's good enough. Except that those went down too. So let's undo that. And what we will do is we will make these, we should be able to make these unique right here. This will be a little trick you can learn for Sketchup. Make unique. That means now only those will go down now. So those went down and these didn't. Okay, thank you, Jesus. There we go. Now I can just show this to the homeowner and they can, there's no telling. I've actually drawn, spent hours and hours drawing handrails before, and then we get ready to build it and the homeowner changes their mind. So I don't get into that trap anymore. But you can see now the rhythm of these posts look better, than, compared to what's holding up the deck. And I'll look at this. It may be that I could add one more post. I don't really need to. 8 feet. Yeah, I don't really need to. Let's see if we have any comments. Reframing the living room and hall partition walls and working on HVAC return. Thanks for the company. How's it going, Gary? And Mace Maswan, Mackie Ewan. Tell me how to pronounce your name. That's funny. Now, these coincidentally and thankfully, that these front and back porches are mirror images of each other. So what I can do is, well, they're not mirrored, they're the same. They are the same. All I have to do, oops. Well, that's weird. I thought the whole thing was, I just grabbed, I keep thinking that he has got all that in the same group, but he doesn't. And that may be a parameter that I didn't pay attention to. So what I need to do is make sure I select. Who's texting me now? Sorry, didn't even flinch on his finger prick. Huh. Barrett had to take Sawyer to the doctor today. And that's why he couldn't work, and the framers didn't start building the house we're building. Didn't start framing today. They wanted to wait till Monday. I guess I can't blame them. And so that's why I'm doing this. But I am not going to let other people's shortcomings get in my way. I'm just kidding. What did I forget this time? Dang it. The bottom rail. Thought I grabbed it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab it and we're going to cut, and then we're going to go into this group and we're going to paste it in place. And voila. Now we should have it all. I'm going to send in a special request that Chuck put okay. I'm starting to think that cut. Okay. For some reason, I gotta get that, and that. Cut them out. Paste in place. Okay, now, am I going nuts? Okay, no, I'm not. I would like for Chuck, this is a request, Chuck, and it's funny, you can make these requests to people that build these extensions, because, let's see, rotate. I have another good friend, Nathan Wilkerson, who makes the 180, who makes the Medique. His name is Nathaniel Medique. And he's an engineer, and he makes the wall, floor, truss, all kinds of extensions. These right here: truss, wall, electrical, foundation. I haven't. He had an update, and I haven't updated or installed the foundation. So I got to move this. One quarter to center it. Don't know how that got off a half inch. But then this should be, yeah. So that's all cool. Now she can kind of get a good look. Okay, now why did we, so we didn't copy it. What I'm going to do actually is make this a component. Rails. I'm getting smarter in my old years. And so now it's going to go back because I didn't copy it, I moved it. No big deal. This is all still quicker than me having to hand draw all these rails. And I'm getting ready to put a nose on my deck here, 1/4. Did you see that SketchUp is really intuitive? It snapped to 1/4 inch because that's what I moved it the last time. It's pretty awesome. So there we go. We got our handrails on. Oh, by the way, this is the Swanee River is over here. That's why this is like an embankment going down to the river. But in Florida, you know, there's such a low elevation. These elevations are like 39, 40 feet above sea level. And to give you an idea, where I live in Tennessee, it's 690 is on the Tennessee River in Chattanooga. 690 is the flood flood stage, flood elevation. So I'm right now have this where I think it is. It's about 10 feet above where I think it is. I'm still waiting on some information back from the engineers on that, and this surveyor put me in touch with local people who could give me information about that. Anyway, that's why it's up on these piles, and these are just like temporary. I've got these as components so that when I find out exactly what we're doing, I can change them and they'll all change. I think what's going to probably end up happening is I talked to one contractor down there, and he says what they're doing is just laying up block piers, which I don't know. That's kind of cheesy for me, but what you do, it would be 16-inch block piers. You just lay two this way and two that way. You alternate them, and then they pour them full of concrete. Of course, they would have rebar in them also, and then they would have footings. I think what I would probably want to do is do like a strip footing all the way around to tie all the base ones together, because she's talking about maybe doing a slab, and that would also get the elevation level in there for her to put gravel in a slab under there. Let's see. Checking the comments. So the other thing I got to do is I need to look at this. I've got these as trusses now, which would be the cheapest option, because this is like 40 feet wide, maybe even wider. I can't remember exactly what. Well, let's go look at the plan. If I put this on the floor plan, it will take me to that, and we can measure it. Yeah, 40 feet. So that's that means your span on your rafters is, what is that? Oh, that's a doorknob. That's funny. I don't know why some of the hardware, some of the little things on some of the extensions get overlooked, but I'm not complaining, because let's see, wall, door. Yeah, just have to go in and put it in the right layer so it'll turn off when I've got all the walls turned off. What is this little anomaly? Oh, I was playing around showing her some wall tie downs, and so that should be like wall engineering or something, and wall is turned off. So again, just an anomaly there. Who is texting me now? Oh, my Walmart order is ready. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's go ahead and put this in wall door. Wall door. Wall door. Anyway, so what I was going to explain about the rafters is that if you know, to span, so 20 feet would be your span for the rafter, right? So if you go look up Southern Pine span tables, always faithfully shows up. Rafter tables, let's see. We want rafters. We don't have to worry about snow load. Oh, yeah, that's just a common load. So then if we go down to 2010 and you look at 20 feet and the common spacing is 16 inches on center, you see, and number 2 is the grade of lumber we use. You see, you would have to use 2x12s at 16 inches on center. You could use 2x10s at 12 inches on center. But see, you always check this because it's easy for me to draw something and then it not pan out later on. But I think that's why I had trusses, right? So trusses would be engineered to span the entire distance without any load bearing in the middle. They put a slight camber to a roof truss, and then by the time you put your roof decking on, it'll sit down on these interior walls. But there's no real load. In other words, you could take out all these interior walls and roof trusses would span the whole thing. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because she was talking about vaulting the porch area. See, this is a deck. I'm showing it. I need to get rid of that. I need to get rid of that handrail right there. But anyway, I'll do that later. But this is a deck. And let's turn on the walls for a second. And so one thing I thought I might do is show her an option of where she could use. You could use rafters. Well, you couldn't. You could use rafters if this wall went all the way through. Because what you could do is build a little short wall right here. And so the span of the rafter would only be from here to here. Then from here to the center. Then from the center to there. And from there to the center. You'd break up the spans. You're just texting me now. I'll be in the area about half an hour. I just had to give my owner bad news. Sorry, they are coming Monday. We were supposed to start framing this morning, and I drove all the way there and was the first one there. And slowly but surely, I got the call. Paco, oh, we can't come today. We're coming Monday. So now I have to tell the owner, give her the bad news. She was all excited. Anyway, so an alternative is to... Let's turn on the roof. And what we can do is we can take this roof and we can move it out of the way temporarily. Let's just move it a given dimension. Let's just move it 80 feet. So when I move it back, I don't have to worry about getting it in exactly the right place. And so what I can do is make these scissor trusses. And coolly enough, Nathan has these, scissor trusses. Dang, I thought I saw them. And they would go on that point right there because they have OSB, they have sheeting on the gable end too. So you want to line up your framing. You want your trusses to sit right there. And then the same thing back here. Oh shoot. I didn't go all the way to the end. I meant to go all the way across, not just that one little section. So this time we'll go all the way across. That's strange. I thought I had. That's what I get for talking. Now we'll go all the way back. And again, we'll stop short of the right there because we want our trusses to have sheeting too. Top cord pitch. I mean, she wanted a 412. Got acknowledgement from the owner. She's nice. 24. And yes, advanced roof options. And let's change this cladding. I know it's going to be metal. And we'll show that one. And we'll just show. Let's just say okay, and then we'll see what's missing. There we go. So what you get with the scissor truss is, oh, I forgot to change the thing here. You have an inner pitch, and an outer pitch, or an upper, the upper pitch. So what you can do is go back in, and I didn't check that top cord pitch, and I think that 212 would be what we would want on that. You really want to get, yeah, that looks better. You really want to get those pitches as far apart as you can and still get the effect of the vault you want. You see, now the other option is to just do the vaulted trusses back to here, and then you could run the regular trusses on the other part. But this would give her, and I wonder if I've got, did I save the roofs? I had some roofs that I had saved. I had some schematic roofs that I had saved, where what I had done was I had built little walls to enclose all this part, because these are exterior walls. So these walls would have to be built up to there. But then you could, let's go in here and edit this and see if we can get some siding on there. Gable truss, no. Gable overhang, 24. Update. Outlookers. Roof cladding. Gable wall, yes. And what would that be? I don't think it matters, because it's going to look funny. I'll have to redraw this anyway, so we'll just put something on there. Oops. Yeah, see, that's not going to work. I thought he had this so that the gable wall cladding would be at the shape of that, but what we'll do is we'll turn that off. I'll have to do some of this stuff manually, which is no big deal because it's still a huge help. No. Because what she wanted to do was, well, let's just see how tall. Well, I'll have to mess with that later. I'll have to actually change these wall types because he's got a gable wall type right there, and then so I'd have to select this one, this, where you can specify the angle and draw it from here to there, and then this one I'll just show you. I could raise this one up. We'll just go, let's see, let me hold shift. Okay, add a foot, like a foot 10, foot 11 to it. So you could go in here and add this one and make it 121 and or made 122. Update. What did I do? What did I do? Somehow I didn't add the other 10 inches. 132. There we go. And that's not perfect, but it just gives you an idea. These walls, so all three of these walls. And one other thing that's cool is you can go into his wall extension. This is Medique wall extension, and go to these tools and say copy wall, and you can pick this one and go in and pick the attribute you want, and then just click on the walls you want to copy, and then do that. Now the funny part is I'll have to go also and get a gable wall type. I'll have, if she decides to do this, and this is why I'm not going to too much extent right now. I don't want to make sure she's going to do it. But if you do this gable wall, you can also get this type where it has the both pitches of the wall, not just the shed. And that one would go in here to fill that in. So you can kind of get an idea. So I think that's what I think I'll work on that, because I think that's what she'll do. And then one thing we did say to make this inner part cool in here is to vault the ceiling, and that would actually be a cheap way to vault the ceiling, and still get to be able to cover that 40 foot overall span. So I'll probably spend some more time on that. Let's turn off the framing, because I still have this complaint with SketchUp that see those vertical lines right there, those are the studs showing through the siding, and and they say, oh, it's a graphics card thing. Let's see if I turn off the wall framing, which is what I do when I start to print my elevations. I set up these views right up to the floor. Don't tell me I zapped the floor. Okay, geez. I've done that before, where I'll delete something and I'll have accidentally selected something beyond it. But anyway, when I set up these views, I get it the way I want it, and then I'll save it with the framing turned off, the wall framing, because if I don't, sometimes it'll show through and sometimes it won't, depending on the angle. See, they're starting to show through. And sometimes even if they're not showing this way and you start to zoom in or out, they'll start to show. So it's kind of a pain, something we have to work around. And I'm going to turn them off. So what I'll do is I'll get with her. I'm supposed to meet with her this weekend, and I'm going to wait to really, because this wall here would have to be a gable wall too. So, and they're different wall types, so I'll have to basically redo those if she chooses that. But what I'll do in the meantime is, when we meet, see, I can just take this whole roof assembly. Well, I can take them both and move them back and forth 80 feet now. See, 80 feet. And then we can look at that one. Of course, the walls will be back down, obviously. They won't be sticking up. And so she can decide whether she wants to do this. Would be obviously the cheapest option. Wouldn't be the most attractive option, but it would be the cheapest. You could make it attractive by probably coming in here and doing some timber framing, you know, a couple of columns here just to give it some character. But I think what's going to happen is she'll choose this one. So after I go to Walmart and get my Wheaties for in the morning, 80 feet, I'll come back and work on this. And for some reason, people are trying to call me and text me. Don't they know I've got something to do? All right. So there we are. I just really wanted to kind of show how handy the Vali Architects extensions are. He also has siding and roofing, and I kind of switch. Sometimes I'll draw a house just in what I call schematic mode, where I just draw it, you know, to standard tools, you know, and I'll poke windows and doors in there. Well, in that case, you can go to Vali Architects Instant Cladding and select the style. So it's got all kinds of cool stuff. Like say we were building a log house, and let me select this other side too, and I'm just going to run it just to see how it turns out. You know, then it would that, you know, obviously I need to fix the parameters, and if you have doors and windows, let me just show you. It'll cut around them, honestly. So this is a really handy one if I'm in a meeting with somebody and I've only drawn the house in this sort of schematic mode like this. I forgot to select the. Then you can just go in and say, hey, what do you think about, you know, lap siding, or what do you think about? It even has these options for, you know, breaking it up. Like trying to see one that would be sort of neat to look at. You know, here, maybe stone part of it. Continue. You get that little warning about memory. You know, so you know you can control. Oops, got down below my grass. You can control. This was stucco and that was stone, but you can control the height of the stone and all. That's just parameters that you put in. So, but if after I do the schematic mode, then I'll go and maybe use Mediques for the framing part, because if I turn off the roofs, then it helps me with my estimating. Go back to roof. Let's turn that off. Turn this off, and turn off the drywall. Wall. Where is it? I'm missing gypsum. Yeah. And I got to turn the framing back on. But you get the drift. You see right here. Then I can go in and I can, you know, remind myself I've got to estimate for headers and top plates and corners and tees and all that. So I haven't used Vali Architects wall yet. I may try that sometime soon. Instant wall, make wall. Where am I going to make it? Yeah, it's like what? Where am I going to put it? So anyway, let's go back to our working view. Yeah, and so I've got some more work to do. I just wanted to kind of share where I was in the project, and let's see if we have any comments or questions before I go. Oh, if you need any help like this, you can go to my website, atdrafting.com. That's funny. I just happened to have this tab up for another customer was asking me about the link to this page, but you can go fill out this little form to describe your project, and it'll come to me. And of course, here's Valley Architects website. It's just valleyarchitects.com, and you can see they've got all the SketchUp stuff there. And live streaming, I guess I don't have any more comments. All right. So I appreciate everybody watching, and we will see you on the next one.